Now at 9, MoDOT announces repairs to an I-44 bridge are finished ahead of schedule. Plus, a call for better communication between the Carthage City Council and the Water and Electric Plant Board. And a Missouri nonprofit gives people a lesson on the state's culture and heritage.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dow Quick. MoDOT says the I-44 bridge near Fidelity is now repaired and all lanes and ramps are open. The bridge was damaged when an oversized crane went under it on State Highway 59 and struck the bridge's girders last month. The girders and concrete surrounding them were damaged, but MoDOT engineers at the time determined the bridge to be structurally sound. Still, it needed repairs, which are now finished. We're hoping to get a bit more rain. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, we actually do have showers and thunderstorms in the forecast as we go through about the next 36 hours, which is great news. We had heavy amounts of rain for a good chunk of us last night, and then we cleared out. 96 for a high. The record's 113 set back in 1956. Not too much has been going on for us throughout the afternoon into the evening hours. Just a few spotty little showers, but most of you have ended up dry. But late tonight, so we're talking after 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, a few scattered thunderstorms start popping up northeastern parts of Oklahoma and then increase. So now we're looking at 4:30 in the morning, continuing to increase 5:30 in the morning, and then spreading northeastward. Our northern counties, you will get mist, but I think at least the southern half of the region is going to get showers and thunderstorms for us tomorrow. Plus another batch tomorrow night. We're going to talk about it here in just a bit.
See you soon. Last night, storms left some scattered damage in Carthage. A number of trees and limbs came down. This is video from a neighborhood near 162 Road and Oak Street in Carthage. Across the state line, Crawford County, Kansas reported a number of water rescues as well. Authorities have arrested a man suspected of damaging tens of thousands of dollars in copper wire of an area internet provider. Troy Maples is charged with theft of property or services and criminal damage to property, among other crimes. It stems from a recent copper wire theft from KOAM Telephone Cooperative. Authorities found Maples just outside of Pittsburgh. KOAM offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of vandalism and theft suspect in that case. Police say thieves are targeting grounding copper, but they're also cutting fiber. Although the copper thefts yielded only a few $100s, the damage caused by cutting that fiber, it's a lot more significant. It can cause service outages to such things as 911. City utility workers in Carthage who have been hoping for a wage increase will have to wait, at least for now. It's the latest in a back and forth between the Water and Electric Board members and the City Council that some say was all the result of miscommunication. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to the Carthage mayor for an update on efforts to clear things up in the future.
The Carthage City Council wants to improve communication between the city's Water and Electric Board. Carthage Water and Electric Plant created a budget including salary increases. However, according to officials, this is where the miscommunication began.
The board had given the general manager the authority to develop the salaries and approve, and they approved them through him, which was not communicated. We were not. That's where the miscommunication was.
According to city officials, not all salaries were approved by the board. The city requested details from the board in order to approve other salaries. The city ordinance states that workers' salaries must be approved by the council or the board. The council requested a salary study from the board to determine if their workers are paid fairly compared to area utilities. The board submitted a salary survey from the National Public Utility Association, but the mayor said the survey was inadequate. The council met behind closed doors and then voted to remove all 6 board members of the Carthage Water and Electric, which caused backlash from the community.
You know, things got way out of hand and it was major miscommunications.
The Carthage Water and Electric Board is still intact. The council is conducting a salary study. The mayor says once the council receives the results of the study, utility workers can expect to see a wage increase in next year's budget. Reporting in Carthage, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Mayor says he's not sure when that study might be complete. Some area folks had a lesson in culture and heritage. Missouri Humanities today hosted a cultural heritage workshop in Joplin. It was a way for community members to brainstorm ways to increase engagement and better use community assets. The day consisted of group discussions, activities, and a two-part presentation.
Recognize what makes a place unique and special and how best to incorporate people and incorporate stories and places all kind of in this amalgamation of ideas and how to best present that to people, how to get people more engaged in places. And so I think that really helps with the idea of cultural heritage.
That workshop was free. They also discussed Route 66 100th anniversary in Joplin. Hey, we want to thank all of you who pledged donations during today's Hero Fund Telethon. During our earlier newscast, we worked with volunteers to accept your phone-in contributions to help support first responders all across the 4 states. You, your neighbors, and sponsors pledged thousands of dollars that will help buy such things as bulletproof vests and firefighting equipment, tools that help first responders who dedicate their professions to helping all of us. Thanks to all the sponsors and first responders who manned the phone banks, and again, thanks to all of you who gave what you could. Coming up, a more convenient option for birth control.
The FDA clears the way for women across America to buy over-the-counter birth control pills. I'm Jonathan Siri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
Millions of American women, teens, and girls will soon be able to pick up contraceptive medication from the same aisles as aspirin and eye drops. It's all thanks to the FDA approving a new over-the-counter birth control pill. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri has that story.
It's just an amazing moment. It's really an important transformation in access to contraception care.
An historic decision by the FDA, the agency approving the nation's first over-the-counter birth control medication, Opill, made by drug maker Perrigo. The once-a-day pill was first approved for prescription use in 1973. Now it will be available without prescription, allowing millions of women to bypass the cost and time of seeing a healthcare provider.
This access to a pill directly over the counter will mean that people can have vastly different access to a highly effective birth control method.
Opill's approval came after the company submitted years of research to the FDA showing women could safely and effectively take the pill without medical supervision. Its approval comes despite concerns by some FDA scientists that some women with underlying medical conditions may not understand they should not take the drug. Advocates, however, say the benefits outweigh the risks.
It's been around a long time, very safe and effective. We have a large amount of data supporting that this pill is safe and effective for over-the-counter use.
Perrigo says the hormone-based pill will not be available for sale until early next year. The company has not announced a price for the pill yet.
What will be important for all of these over-the-counter methods is that they are affordable and covered by insurance.
Once the pill finally does become available for sale, Perrigo says there will be no age restrictions on who can buy it. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
Social isolation is a common problem as people age, and it might be linked with a shrinking brain. A study published by the American Academy of Neurology used MRI scans and finds seniors with the lowest amount of social contact have significantly lower overall brain volume when compared with the most social seniors. Researchers say being more social could potentially prevent brain loss and dementia. They point out, though, the study doesn't prove that social isolation causes brain shrinkage, only shows an association. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later in sports, we're going to preview the annual Nitro Chaos Drag Race at Mocan Dragway, which kicks off tomorrow.
Well, we got some good amounts of rain for most of us late last night into the morning hours as our severe event rolled through, which is a little atypical this far into the winter. Usually most of our severe weather is done by the 4th of July. Doesn't mean that you can't have severe weather, obviously, any time of the year. It looks pretty good right now. We do have partly to mostly cloudy skies. Nice shot Indigo Sky, Casino and Resort. Temperatures still warm, anywhere from mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees across the region. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline currently sitting at 86. Still feels like 96 degrees with a dew point of 76, so it is way up there. All right, check our rainfall out last night. So where you see the lighter colors, under a ½ an inch. Columbus, through a good chunk of Joplin, under a ½ inch. However, very scattered. Heavier amounts, Ottawa County. Look at Pittsburgh. So this shows us anywhere from 5 to 6 to 7 inches of rain, especially on the south side of Pittsburgh. Another bullseye from Chanute, just south of Yates Center, with 7 to 9 inches of rain. So at least we got some pretty good rainfall amounts across the region. Not too much is going on for us right now. We've had a couple little spotty showers throughout the evening hours. You can see a couple little tiny showers popping up, but most of us are looking pretty good. But we are tracking for at least some thunderstorms later on tonight, kind of blowing up near Wichita. You can already see some trying to get going, and those will try to flare up later on tonight. As this wave rotates out, we're also going to watch this batch, which is dropping out of Nebraska, but most of these aren't even going to be in here until very late tonight into the morning hours. And then behind that, we have a severe threat tomorrow night, at least a slight risk, a level 2 out of 5. 6 p.m. to midnight, hail and wind are the main threats. We'll keep all the threats slight at this point in time. So 2 batches which are going to affect us as we go through the next 36 hours. All right, pretty quiet until 2 o'clock in the morning. Let's go to 3. You can see a couple little thunderstorms trying to get going, kind of flaring up northeastern Oklahoma all the way to about 5:30 or 6, and you can see it kind of trying to march a little bit farther north. Northern counties most likely will stay dry, but some of these thunderstorms can be strong. I think most of them under severe limits. Still, 8:30 in the morning, 10 a.m. scattered thunderstorms sticking around, and then we'll start to dry out by the time we head into tomorrow afternoon before our next round rolls in. So we got to see where the heaviest amounts of rain are really going to kind of fire up, but northern counties not much at all, but some heavier amounts once you get into our southern counties. And then once this blows on by, look at this monster, which is going to roll in tomorrow evening. That's going to give us a pretty good severe threat. We're going to be talking a little more about that in the second half hour. 90 for us tomorrow, 91 Saturday. Sunday looks good, 94, heating back up. Triple-digit heat back in next week.
When it rains, it pours.
Hopefully.
Sometimes, I guess. Thanks, Doug. Forecasters warn of more rain for Vermont, where it's not exactly welcome. That comes days after devastating floods swept across that state. A massive cleanup effort is underway in the hardest hit areas. Fox Weather's Katie Byrne has more.
It's a race to clean up from catastrophic flooding in Vermont. Volunteers are coming in from across the state to remove mud and debris from devastated businesses.
Just people who wandered in off the street and asked if they could help, and that is very much the Vermont way. And I think that's how we're going to recover from this.
And yet another round of rain is threatening the state. Forecasters say severe storms that are hitting the Central Plains will make their way to the Northeast by Thursday evening. The system threatening the region with large hail and damaging wind gusts. But Vermont Governor Phil Scott warns that after this week's historical rainfall, there's nowhere for the additional water to go.
Folks will want to think this is over as soon as the weather breaks on Saturday. But it's critical that Vermonters understand that we need to remain vigilant and prepared.
On Wednesday, urban search and rescue teams were out checking on people across the state and assessing damage. Local officials say they'll remain in hard-hit areas to respond to any threats from these upcoming storms. The Red Cross urging folks to have a plan in place in case they need to evacuate their homes.
If you're getting warnings that there might be floodwaters coming or rivers cresting near you, it's a great time to make sure that you have 3 days worth of emergency supplies.
State officials are also keeping an eye on a dam that protects the state capital, but say for now, it remains stable. In Barrie, Vermont, Katie Byrne, Fox Weather.
Later, why Hollywood actors are joining the Writers Guild and taking to the picket lines. Hollywood is in crisis as some 160,000 performers head to the picket line. It comes just months after screenwriters launched their own strike. Fox's Anna Eliopoulos has more.
The eyes of the world, and particularly the eyes of labor, are upon us.
For the first time in decades, thousands of actors are joining striking TV and movie writers on the picket line. SAG-AFTRA's national board holding a vote on Thursday to call a strike after talks with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers reached a dead end. It's a move that effectively stops what little production was occurring since writers walked off the job in May. Actors are demanding better pay for work on streaming platforms and limits on the use of artificial intelligence.
Despite our team's efforts, the AMPTP has remained steadfast in its commitment to devaluing the work of our members.
The studio.
Twitter wants a federal court to end the company's consent agreement with the Federal Trade Commission. In 2022, Twitter and the FTC settled a privacy dispute after regulators accused Twitter of misusing account security information. Then last summer, the FTC opened an investigation into Twitter over allegations that have violated the terms of that agreement. Twitter is asking the court to stop the investigation and terminate the agreement. The value of office space is plummeting in the era of remote work. That's according to a new report. It's from McKinsey Global Institute and looks at 9 cities with some of the busiest economies in the world. Among them are New York, San Francisco, and Houston. It predicts they'll see an $800 billion decrease in the worth of office buildings by 2030 as vacancies rise and rents decline. Up next, we're going to learn about a chance for our recipients of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library to meet the country music legend. Dolly Parton is going to soon have kids looking for bookmarks as she celebrates a notable milestone for her Imagination Library program. Imagination Library mails more than 2 million age-appropriate free books each month to enrolled children ages 5 and younger. And as part of the celebration, 7 Dolly bookmarks will be randomly hidden inside books gifted during September. The lucky recipients will receive a video chat with Dolly herself, a personalized signed letter, an autographed picture, and 4 tickets to the Dollywood theme park. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The EPA is checking yards in Baxter Springs, Kansas for lead contamination. Plus, the Carthage Water and Electric Plant celebrates 125 years of service with an ice cream social. The Environmental Protection Agency is making its way to Cherokee County, Kansas to continue monitoring lead levels. It's been a concern in the old mining district for generations. KOAM's Jasmine Knight looks at the effort to address the problem.
The former Tri-State Mining District, located in southeast Kansas, mined lead and zinc from the mid-1800s to the 1970s. Today, traces of lead, zinc, and cadmium can still be found in Cherokee County.
With 100 years of mining also comes 100 years of mine waste. Now, waste has been distributed throughout the community in some means by natural means, and in some ways by anthropogenic means. So that means like moving the material around.
Years ago, the EPA completed a major cleaning effort to remove lead waste from Cherokee County. However, if you still have concerns about your property, contact the EPA for a consultation.
Generally, we'll collect the soil samples, and then we provide those results to the property owner, along with an explanation of kind of what the levels are and what that means. Each one of our Superfund sites, we have identified levels at which cleanup would be required on a property.
As far as lead contamination, it can be hard to detect, but it's very harmful, especially for pregnant women and children. Symptoms of lead poisoning include slowed physical growth, hearing, learning, and behavioral problems, as well as nervous system damage.
There's things like hand washing, very simple things. There's, if you're tracking material in from contaminated areas on your property, making sure just to sweep and vacuum the house. Blood testing for children, that is a common one.
Overall, the EPA advises residents to stay informed and take the proper precautions when needed. Reporting in Baxter Springs, Jasmine Knight, KOAM News.
The EPA also offers lead testing for properties at no cost to the resident. You can check out their website for more information. The Carthage Water and Electric Plant today is celebrating 125 years of operation. They hosted this ice cream social. In addition to the sweet treats, it also featured live music, a dunk tank, bucket truck rides, and old-fashioned games.
It really feels good. No matter what happens in life, when you have some adversity, you come out of that stronger and better off. And I think Our entire community is better today, and we look forward to growing and becoming stronger as a utility and a city, moving forward to make our community the best place to live in Southwest Missouri.
That social was at Central Park. Kids in Miami, Oklahoma were jumping for joy. The Ottawa County Farmers Market hosted a jump rope competition. There were different parts of the event, including longest jumping without breaking and how many jumps in 30 seconds. Everyone who participated got a free jump rope, and the winners received gift cards.
Jump rope was a sport that gave me an outlet my whole life. You know, I stuck out in middle school, high school. I wasn't like anybody else, and all I want to do is give back to the kids and say, whatever it is that you want to do, go for it and never give up in it. Even if someone says you can't do that or jump rope's not going to take you anywhere, well, it's taken me pretty far. So I just want to inspire kids to never give up, whatever it is.
After that competition, there was a performance of jump rope skills by the group Learning the Ropes. As he was departing Finland for a home after a week of high-stakes meetings with fellow NATO members, President Biden tried to play up what the alliance agrees on. But beneath the surface, there are still simmering divisions, most notably what to do about Ukraine. Fox's Carolyn Shively reports from Washington.
No one can guarantee the future, but this is the best bet anyone could make.
President Biden wrapped up his 5-day, 3-country tour of Europe with a promise to NATO allies. The U.S. isn't going anywhere. He spoke at a news conference with the president of Finland, the newest country to join the alliance.
The United States is committed to Finland, committed to NATO, and those commitments are rock solid. That we'll defend every inch of NATO territory.
Finland applied for NATO membership shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine more than 500 days ago. But Mr. Biden held fast to his statements to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that his nation should not be allowed to join the union until certain conditions are met and the war with Russia is over.
It makes perfect sense for Zelensky to want to be in NATO. Naturally, he would love to have 32 other countries fighting alongside of him, but 32 other countries are not threatened by Russia.
Ukraine did gain assurances from several NATO countries for weapons and training. Promised cluster bombs have already arrived from the U.S. as Ukraine wages its counteroffensive against Russia.
So there's a lot of vicious fighting yet to come. I think it's going to be weeks and months before we really know how successful this counteroffensive can be.
President Biden said on Thursday he doesn't believe the war in Ukraine will last for years and said he believes Vladimir Putin has already lost. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
The U.S. Secret Service has closed its investigation into the cocaine found at the White House earlier this month, citing a lack of physical evidence. The agency says it did not find sufficient DNA evidence on the bag of cocaine, and surveillance video did not provide any investigative leads. Some Republican members of Congress briefed today expressed frustration with the lack of answers. A bit later, some high-tech sweets.
If you've got a sweet tooth, this one's for you. I'm Marianne Rafferty with a look at the 3D printed desserts you have to see to believe. Coming up.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a wet start for most of us during the morning hours, and then during the afternoon, we broke out, saw a little bit of sunshine, and heated up into the mid-90s for afternoon highs. Now, on Thursdays, our new drought tracker comes out, but it most likely does not take into account all the rain that we saw last night, but still, you can see through the metro a severe drought and then extreme drought once you get up toward Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh got about 6 to 7 inches of rain yesterday. Still, we have an exceptional drought once you get into our western counties, extreme drought in mainly our northern counties. But look at the rainfall, which was great to see. Joplin didn't pick up that much, but several inches once you get up toward Pittsburgh, and then also another little pocket just south of the Yates Center over towards Chanute. So at least we got some decent amounts. As of right now, just some clouds rotating through, a couple little sprinkles. Besides that, it's pretty quiet until late tonight. We're going to see kind of these storms out toward Wichita start to blossom into northeastern Oklahoma and then start to affect a good chunk of us late tonight into tomorrow morning. We're also watching these complexes out to the west. All right, let's go through time. Pretty quiet till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. After that, we'll start to get some scattered thunderstorms, which will pop up. They really start getting going in northeastern Oklahoma, 4 to 5 a.m. You can see them expanding, and some of these could be stronger, maybe low-grade severe, but mainly just strong thunderstorms, and then kind of sliding east along that Kansas-Oklahoma state line, maybe not even getting into the metro until 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, our northern counties, you're not going to see much, as most of this is going to be in the southern half of the region. So we start the day with showers and thunderstorms. Most of these should be out of here right about the noon hour. Rainfall amounts, of course, most of it's going to be in our southern counties. Not much is going to fall in our northern counties, but the southern half of the region, a lot of areas can pick up a quarter, half an inch, maybe even some isolated inch amounts. Then we get a break, but then we have a severe threat once again for us tomorrow night. There's going to be a level 2 out of 5, timing 6 p.m. to midnight. Still a lot depends on how long that batch of storms in the morning sticks around, but we're going to keep all the threats slight at this point in time, but definitely reevaluate it. All right, here's 4:30 p.m. Watch this line. Drives in 6, 7, 8 p.m. Most likely strong to severe. The main threat, hail and wind. This band continues. Here's 10:30 p.m. Finally gets out of here by about midnight for us tomorrow night, and then pretty quiet all the way into Saturday morning. But once again, late Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, we're going to be watching for possibly a couple little complexes which are going to try to drive through. Temperatures a little bit better for us the next couple days. So morning thunderstorms, a lot of clouds in the afternoon, high temp right around 90 degrees depending on how much sunshine we can get across the region. We're going to hold right around 90 again as we go into Saturday with a chance for a few morning storms. Sunday heating up, sunshine. Pop-up storms Monday and Tuesday. Notice the temps back to right around triple-digit heat Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we cool down a little bit late next week, but we do have those chances. I keep them low right now, 20% chances of these overnight nocturnal storms once again.
Whether we get rain or not, there is a lot of moisture in the air out there.
It is very humid.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Doug. Hey, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, absolutely free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It's the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, highlights from tonight's Outlaws game at Joe Becker Stadium. Plus, the Mocan Dragway offers racing enthusiasts a special weekend. John Dales has those stories and more coming up.
Hey, welcome into sports. I'm John Dales. The Mocan Dragway in Asbury hosts racing events every weekend, but starting tomorrow, it offers motorsports enthusiasts an event that you only get the chance to witness about once a year. Thursday afternoon, things look pretty calm on the Mocan Dragway track in Asbury, but come this weekend, it'll be far from that.
This is our 61st anniversary event. We've also got Nitro Chaos on hand to help celebrate it. 20 plus nitro powered dragsters, funny cars, altereds, a mix of vehicles, and the main rule is they all have to run nitro methane. Alongside that, our Grand Marshal is local legend, Missouri-based fuel dragster driver Scott Palmer, and he's going to be going for our track record.
These two cars here, and there's another one coming this weekend that just got put together. They basically have the same drivetrain, same power output as our NHRA 330 mile an hour top fuel dragster, which has 11,000 plus horsepower. So we put that combination in two door cars. We call they're Pro Mod door cars, but they're half the wheelbase, less than half the wheelbase, and so much wilder. They're just not built for that much horsepower. So you got to have a couple screws loose to put that much horsepower in a little car like this.
Although racers are coming from all over the country, this weekend also offers a look at some of the best driving talent the 4 states has to offer.
In addition to Nitro Chaos, we have a ton of local great racers. We're looking at probably having more than 200 of them out here this weekend. A lot of them have been running out here for years and years. We've got some young guns out there too. And to win a Mocan anniversary race is a really big deal, and especially to the guys that run out here all the time.
The racing gets started tomorrow night, then the finals are on Saturday, with cars going over 200 miles per hour, competing for $35,000 in prize money. In local baseball, Mink League action rolls along today for both Joplin and Nevada as we close in on the final week of the regular season. Outlaws at home hosting the Clarinda A's. They hosted them last night as well. Came up just short in that contest though. We start things out in the top of the first. Cole Hill makes a nice play right here. Line shot right at him and he throws it to first. That's a double play for the Outlaws. Defensive battle right off the jump. We go ahead. Top of the fourth now. Luke Stout of Clarinda hits one sharply into right field. That's going to find some grass out there, and that's going to be an RBI single. The A's take a 3-0 lead at that point. They were up 5-1 going into the fifth, but here come the Outlaws. Caden Bressler sends a ball to center. Cole Hill comes in to score. Joplin now down 5-2. Very next batter, Colton Reynolds, and he keeps this ball just fair down the line. Another run comes in to score. It's Caden Bressler. RBI double by Reynolds as he slides in safely at second. Makes it a 5-3 ball game. Outlaws score a bunch of runs late. They come back to win it 7-5. Meanwhile, things not quite as good for the Griffins. Nevada hosting Jeff City tonight, and they trail 16-6 in the eighth inning. Things were off from the jump. You could tell the Renegades scored a run in each of the first 5 innings. That was more than enough to get the job done. But Dow, bringing it back to that racing event I went to earlier, talking to those guys, they obviously know a ton more about cars than I do, but you can kind of explain it more ways than one, but these are really fast cars that are going to be in the four states this weekend.
That's clear enough. 200 miles an hour plus.
Yes.
We'll be right back. The rise of 3D printers is transforming what we make and how we make it. From buildings to medical devices, fashion, food, and more. But if you have a sweet tooth, well, listen up. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty takes a look at the 3D printed desserts that could be the food of the future.
They may look like action figures, but they're actually desserts of the future. Los Angeles-based company Sugar Lab calls itself a digital bakery, which uses a specially modified 3D printer to create edible sweet treats using, you guessed it, sugar.
3D printing has the potential to really remake almost every industry that we can imagine, and food is one of them.
From your favorite animated characters to company logos and even custom designs, this printer can do it all.
One day these things are going to be in like everyone's kitchen. Not tomorrow, but sooner than we think.
And while other 3D printers are being used to make meat and fish products, Sugar Lab says theirs is the only one in the world certified by the National Science Foundation, an independent government agency.
And it's the only one that operates at scale, so we can print thousands and thousands of product overnight and have it ready for the chefs in the morning. And that's the really key difference between this technology and other 3D printers.
But just because these edible masterpieces are made by technology, the computers aren't the only ones doing the heavy lifting.
It really takes working with a chef and having a goal, researching what ingredients you want, sourcing them, bringing them in-house, mixing them up, tasting them, before they even go into the 3D printer.
The desserts can be used as cake toppers, add flavor to your favorite drinks, and even be stuffed with different fillings. In Los Angeles, Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Coming up, we're going to learn about the men who captured this 19-foot-long python, the longest ever caught in Florida. A group of friends in Florida have just broken a record by capturing the longest python ever in that state. Even more astonishing, some of the guys had never gone python hunting before. Reporter Amy Gallo has details.
So this is not at all what I was expecting to do today. I'm here with 2 python hunters who caught the longest python. We're holding it now, 19 feet exactly, 125 pounds. Just take a look at its head. Look at this. They say they wrestled this to the ground in order to capture it. A text from your son in the middle of the night telling you he caught, well, this. How would you react?
You wake up to a text that's a picture of them, with the friends draped with the snake across their shoulders, and you think, wow, that's great. And then later the next morning, I got a video of Jake having to literally throw himself at the python and capture it by himself. And that's when my heart stopped.
Oh my God! Oh my God! And we were getting ourselves into a fight that was a little bit trickier than we first anticipated.
Well, it certainly is impressive. Jake and his friends caught the longest python ever measured in Florida.
He took me a little too seriously. I've always said, whatever you do, just be the best at it. And they really did it this time.
She's 19 feet long, 125 pounds, and probably was in her late 20s.
This one just blew me away when I came up to it, saw what he had caught.
And it wasn't easy. This net didn't work, so Jake had to change up his technique.
I originally walked up to it thinking I could just come behind it and grab its head like a normal grab. But then the snake went absolutely crazy. It was trying to wrap me up, trying to strangle me, and my friends luckily were able to pull it off, and we were able to capture this thing safely.
His friends, who had never been python hunting before. Yeah.
I think they got the true Florida experience.
This snake was already measured by the Southwest Florida Conservancy and confirmed to be the longest ever captured in the state. Now the Conservancy wants to run some tests and find out more about her.
They're thinking that maybe because of how large this snake is and how old it is, could be in the first or second generation of pythons that moved into Big Cypress.
After that, Jake and Steven have plans of their own.
We want to get a skull mount.
And then they'll donate the body so people can learn more from it.
It's really just about getting those first couple pythons in the bag, and then once you get going, like this is only our third year python hunting, and I think this is pretty good progress.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a gathering of golden retrievers in Scotland celebrating the breed's founding. More fun than a gathering of pythons. Let's make it a great tomorrow.